Hello, this is Tara McGinnis, your instructor, and because this class is large, it will be split into two groups generally for the semester, but for this particular class on the first day, we're actually dividing into two groups so that I can take one group on a tour of the theater and then take a series of mugshots, and another group watching this video. So if you're watching this video, you either have already had the tour or you're going to have that after the first group has the tour. So what I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to go over the syllabus. The syllabus is 29 or 30 pages long, which means I know you're not going to read it. So I might as well read it to you while you're waiting to go on the tour and have your pictures taken. So syllabus for Intro to Costume Design. Please note there is a class webpage on Canvas. It will be getting bigger and better, and I will keep adding things to it as we move along in the semester. And there are lots of links to various things. You can see here my personal email. My personal cell phone, please put that into your phone so that if you are going to miss a day because you got a cold or you had to go out of town or whatever, that you can go and text me and say, hi there, I have the whoopsies and I don't want to throw up in class, so I'm staying in bed like a sensible person. Please just keep in contact with me one way or the other so that I don't drop you from the class because you've been missing for a couple of days and I think you have dropped or have not dropped and should have for your own good. So please keep me in line for that. I also have a personal website upon which I have many more fun things. Feel free to go there, poke around. There is a Shutterfly page where photos that I take of you in class will, other than the mugshots, will be posted unless you ask me not to post them. I will take photos of your work in class. That's why I'm taking the mugshots. But I will save them to my hard drive and not put them on Shutterfly if you don't wish them to be there. However, if you want pictures of things that you're doing in class and so on, say that that's okay for me to do, and then I will post them to Shutterfly and you'll get lots of pictures for your portfolio. My office hours, there's some details of here, but the truth is what you want to do is go up to where my office is and look at the list of times I am around and about. The most important thing to know here is that you can find me in almost any room in this building, and that means you will have lots of trouble finding me. So if you're looking for me, if somebody says, oh yeah, she's definitely downstairs, feel free to go into any room and look for me. If it's unlocked, you're allowed to be there. But the important thing is if you cannot find me, if you put that phone number in your thing, you can call me and figure out what room I'm in, and we can find each other, and that will be good. There's a bunch of stuff here that I am required to put in the syllabus. You can read that if you want, but you probably already did because it's all the stuff that's in the catalog. Costume lab hours. Well, I'm just going to start reading. Lab hours were created so that you can learn about the types of things we do to put up shows, clean and repair costumes, and maintain our large stock of used costumes between shows. In the occasional event we don't have a show, laundry, stock work to do, sometimes lab time may be devoted to completing your class projects as well. We also have several ongoing sewing projects that help sound, scenic, and wardrobe do their jobs, mic packs, drop bags, and work aprons, that you can do and get more practice sewing. Each individual will return during costume studio times for, come on, let me get to the next page. Come on, be cooperative. Come on. I'll do it this way. Come on. This is going to make me crazy. An average of 1.5 hours per week, 27 hours overall. This is not optional. On this first day, we are not doing that, though, as they've scheduled a production meeting. The hours right after the Thursday post-class P break are officially scheduled for this purpose, but you are also free to come on the same time on Tuesday instead. This means that you can just stay later on the days you work on projects in class, whether you are in Group 1 or Group 2. Other times, Monday and Wednesday, may be available by arrangement, but for all these outside of class hours, you must also sign in and keep the hours on your handwritten timesheet in the sign-in binder we use for this class. That will be located inside the makeup room, just to the right of the doorway, near the big sign that tells you what's going to happen each day. Let me know when you will be coming in so I can potentially line up things for you to do. Please notice this: instructional methods. Because this class is larger than any suitable DVC classroom can fit for working on costume projects, the class will be divided into 2 groups staggered to rotate in the 2 class spaces for all the semester. Students in each group will begin by viewing a weekly PowerPoint video with miscellaneous lecture and/or demo type content in the PA2 men's dressing room next door, which is where you are right now, where my virtual self, hi there, will, and/or one of the TAs will also guide you with what to bring to the next class. Sometimes you will get toys to play with that relate to a video. Most videos appeal to short attention spans by including information in small snippets each week, so you don't get all your costume history in a lump. Ditto for laundry advice, menswear wisdom, designer interviews, etc. Occasionally videos will be on a single topic, but most should feel like surfing along on YouTube or Facebook for interesting stuff. At the next class meeting, you will spend time in the PA3 makeup room, working on your class projects with real live me, so you have some counter space in which to work and can get some less divided Terra attention when you need it. Movies in class. There are also 4 movies we will watch in class. 3 are on a semester-long theme of how research informs costume design: The Cotton Club, Coming to America, and Black Panther. These 3 also help us with spacing the 2 groups around the beginning and end of the semester and spring break. If you miss watching one of these films in class, you can watch it at home by passing a brief online quiz to prove you watched it. However, the 4th film rope is a vital component for one of the assignments you will do with your group, and you must be present to get points for group participation in that half of the assignment. Class on the web. The official class page is located on Canvas at blah, 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 where you can get another copy of this syllabus. You have that already in your little Canvas things. There's a little image like what you see here, located in your Canvas sites. And you can get another copy of this syllabus if you ever lose this one. It's in PDF and you can print it out or just read it online. Check Canvas regularly, either through your link at the DVC site or through the Canvas app. Put in an email forward so you get your DVC email sent to your real email promptly, and/or sign up for text messages through the Canvas phone app. If you do this, you can get extra credit. And you will find out how to do that because I will email it to you. There are also free texts for various things, how-to stuff, additional things, and I have a free online textbook, which you may use, especially if you want to find alternate projects, which I will explain later. I've already explained the class photo page, not quite sure. Oh, yes. So I copyleft the photos that I put on the photo page so that you can use them any way you wish for portfolio or whatever. However, for this reason, please let me know if you do not want photos of you or your work put online. I will still take photos of you with your work for grading, but I will not post them if you do not want your images set free in the world in this way. Taking photos of you and your projects allow me to send your work home with you directly after you turn it in, so it does not get lost. Attendance, timeliness, and participation. Student success in this class closely relates to students showing up on time and staying till the end. Attendance is required and you must sign in. I had the memory of a goldfish related to names and faces, so if you don't sign in, I generally truly don't recall if you were there. If you go missing in the roll sheet for 3 absences in a row and don't let me know you're at home with measles watching class videos online, I might spontaneously drop you for the good of your GPA. Contact me if you will be missing for longer than a day. Ideally, contact me if you're going to be missing even for a day. It is especially important that you show up on days when you do the sewing, drawing, crafts work in the makeup room. Participation in costume class means providing helpful commentary, ideas, and moral support to your fellow students. Doing exemplary participation by enlightening or assisting other students to make projects counts for as much as making projects yourself. In other words, if the day's drawing lesson, sewing lesson, etc. is too simplistic for you, jump in as an unofficial TA and get he, she, they helped me cards from your fellow students for helping them when they are struggling to get your grade points instead. Students who get multiple notes extolling their helpfulness get pins awarded to them too. Let's get another. Materials. Because many of your in-class and post-class lab time projects will be made for DVC show costumes and stock, we will provide you with as much of your needed class materials. But there is still stuff to get. Ideally, you need the following. And I list all the things in the art supply kit and in the sewing kit. One of the things to notice is that both of the kits require scissors and a soft lead pencil. That is to say, one that you don't have to push very hard to get it to come off, not literally lead. They can be the same set of ones for both parts of the kit. You can get all these things in El Cheapo format. The only thing that you want to get in a not so cheap format is you want to make sure that if you're buying a hand sewing needle, that you buy it at a sewing store in a package that doesn't cost $1. Dollar store sewing needles will cause you so much grief you don't want it. On the other hand, you can get a decent 79-cent pair of scissors at Harbor Freight Tools, and it'll do you for almost everything you need for both of those kits for the whole semester. So you don't necessarily have to invest in a whole lot of this stuff, but you do need to go and have like your own pins and pin cushion and a bag to tote stuff around in and a seam ripper and a Sharpie of your own, because I cannot provide pins for the entire class of you. It's just too expensive, especially as the kind of pins we buy in the costume studio are the expensive kind. So please buy yourself a set of El Cheapo pins and all those other fun things, and that will hold you so that you can go and take projects home that need a little bit of finishing at home, and you will be fine. If you already own an art supply kit and or a sewing kit with stuff that you consider sufficient to doing those things, stick with that. Don't go crazy. While you are not in any way required to buy a sewing machine or a full-size dual-temperature hot glue gun, your life will be more beautiful if someday you do. In particular, if you happen to have a sewing machine already, or if your family has, oh, well, there's this one in the garage, maybe it still works, you might want to bring that in, because we only have a certain number of sewing machines, and then you're stuck in a line waiting for a sewing machine. Whereas if you bring one from home, it may not be the world's newest, grandest, spiffiest sewing machine, but it will allow you to be able to go and do that in without having to go and wait in line. There is also an optional final costume project, which if you do that, you have to go and provide your own stuff for. People sometimes really, really want to go and make a full costume as part of this class, especially as the class ends the day before Fanime opens in the South Bay. So if that is something that you want to do, you can do that as a substitute for some of the other assignments. Not all of them, but for some of them. It is more work than doing the assignments, which is one of the reasons I'm more than happy to let people do that. But if you do that, you're going to have to go and buy stuff on your own. And so if you're considering doing that, talk with me about it. And there is actually an assignment to figure out something to that effect. That is to say, figure out what you would do if you were going to do a final project. Even if you don't actually choose to do the project, you will still be doing a drawing of what you plan and researching a pattern for what you plan. Another point down here shows all students enrolled in a theater class are expected to either participate in or view our shows. If there is production you are not actively participating in as a backstage crew member or onstage cast, you should go see the show. The best way to do this is to sign up to be an usher for the show. You get in free. You have to show up a little early and stay a little later. But if you show up earlier and stay later, you will get a good rating as a usher from Marcia, our house manager. You will learn a little bit about house management. And the humdinger is, if you do that, she sends a little report to me about all the people who went and ushered for her, and I give you 10 extra credit points for doing that. So please consider being an usher. If you don't have time for that, just go and buy tickets at DVC DramaNet. Next. Grading. Your grading will be based on an accumulation of points and your participation and your 27 out-of-class time lab hours. In the back of the thing, the last couple of pages of the syllabus are a grade planning sheet. It lists all the things that are the official assignments, and you can go and keep track on that of how you're doing. Also, each time I give you grade points, it will show up in Canvas, and you can see how you're doing through that. So if you want to do substitute tasks that are not the main task of if you want to do alternate assignments, I accept alternate assignments. You should clear it with me. But if you end up doing anything that is costume related in the semester, please turn it in, because it is probably worth points in this class. If you have alternate projects and things of that nature that you really want to go and study up on, and as long as we get you to do at least 3 sewing projects and at least 3 drawing projects in the process of doing this, so that we don't have somebody who knows nothing about drawing by the end of this, or somebody who knows nothing about sewing by the end of this. I am extremely flexible in that regard. Indeed, the class textbook is there so that you can lift costume projects out of that you can use to go into learning more about areas that you're more interested in. Now, course policies. While it is an obvious point of ethics that you should not turn in work that is not your own for a grade in class, this does not imply that you cannot ask for help on your costume projects from me or other students, or even mom or dad. Indeed, if another student helps you while working on a project, please give me a note anytime throughout the semester to get them extra credit points for helping in class. There will be a little jar with 3x5 cards, and you can fill out the card and say, this person helped me doing this, and it was really useful because I didn't know how to thread the machine, or whatever it was that they helped you on. Write that down and put it back in the little jar. And if you're wondering, you don't know what somebody's name is, because most people don't wear name tags, I will, when I make a copy of the cheat sheet of all the pictures, it will end up in the grade book so that you can go and look up the person's name. So at all times, feel free to help one another. Indeed, I really am dependent on you doing that because there's so many people. Official disability statement. Any student with a documented disability is welcome to contact us, meaning the DVC, as early in the semester as possible so that we may arrange reasonable accommodations. As part of this process, please be in touch with Disability Support Services Office at Student Services Center, room, blah, blah, blah. It's all on here. unofficially, ask me. I'll try and figure it out and help you in any way I can. Tara's crazy theory of kryptonite versus superpowers. I myself am strange and unusual, so it is no stretch to my imagination that you may be also. I believe most people have both kryptonite to their learning and superpowers. I have unusual memory issues with numbers, memorization of foreign vocabulary, and certain types of face name recognition. That's why the mugshots. This is why I take your photos on the first day of class. I also have no ability to simultaneously talk and look people in the eye without losing the train of my thought. Nearly all my math, fine motor coordination, and gross motor skills are seriously impaired. You will doubtless see other kryptonite issues as you observe me in class. I also have near magical abilities to find and sort objects and information. I can see objects hidden in confusing spaces, which is really useful around here. And remember spatially where many thousands of objects are stored at DVC, though never my keys. And I am great at reimagining objects as sculptural components. My point is that most people have lots of these invisible helps and hindrances to learning, and the learning process is mostly about using the helps and finding workaround for the hindrances. If you want to talk with me about workarounds and stuff, it is not only okay, you are helping me get better at this teaching thing by giving me useful information that I can't get in a book or from DSS. Okay, details on the class projects. There's a number of class projects. The first one, please put in an email forward, and then you will start getting these weird messages. They will go like whoopity woo ha or bippity or other bits and nonsense phrases. When you get one of those, there will be instructions in it that will tell you what to do in order to go and get extra credit for having done an email forward. Now, if you did an email forward like last semester, it still applies. I just need proof that you are getting my messages because it's really important. You're going to get a message every week that's going to remind you of what you need to do for the following week. And if you don't get that, you are operating at a disadvantage. So next week, we're going to go straight into sewing on a sewing machine, and you're all going to make a rehearsal skirt, or if you don't want to make a rehearsal skirt, you can make a cape. It's rather similar. So you're going to sew a drawstring skirt, blah, blah, blah. If you want to keep your project, instead of having it go into our stock of rehearsal skirts, please bring 3 yards of pre-washed woven cotton fabric, 2 yards of ribbon, and 1 yard of 3/4-inch elastic in addition to your sewing kit to the next class. If you own a portable sewing machine, please bring it. So if you want to go and keep a project for class, other than the ones we say that you're going to keep as we're just going to give you the goodies, you need to go and get it ahead of time. That's why I send out these early missives. Oh, and pre-washed isn't a way you buy fabric. It means you literally go and wash it in a washer before you sew it. Project number 2, sewing drawstring bag and hand stitching. Sew together a bag by hand using the hand sewing stitches learned in class according to the pattern in your kit, embellished with gold work and beetle wings to taste. You don't need to buy fabric for this one, but if you want a particular color bag, buy 1/2 yard shot taffeta, that's the iridescent kind, for ideal results, and 1/2 yard lining in a color of your choice. For a larger tote bag, buy 1 yard of each. Project number 3, sewing a 1920s 1-hour dress, which, by the way, does not take 1 hour. At least according to every costumer I've ever heard who tried to do it. But having said that, if you wish to keep the dress, buy 3.5 to 4 yards of woven non-sheer fabric. Quilter's cotton would be the easiest, so would various kinds of taffetas, but mostly quilter's cotton is a good one to start with. 1 packet of 1/2 inch double fold bias tape in a contrasting color and a matching 1/2 to 1 yard of contrasting woven fabric for belt and trimmings. Pre-wash and iron your fabric. Project number 4, sewing 1920s dress and hat embellishments made from the bits of your contrasting and leftover fabric and tape from the above project. These doodads will help finish off the dress project and make it unique. Hat embellishments may also be used later to decorate your project number 10 crafts hat frame. Okay, so you can see there's a lot of these projects. We will discuss the later projects later in the semester, but you can get a head on that if you want to go and read them early. Let's see, costume crafts, costume magic, necktie tying. Okay, now the thing that starts on page 20 that uses up that last 10 pages or 8 pages is I go through every single day of class and what group 1 and group 2 will be doing, how you go from point to point to point to point. Now today you've just been arbitrarily stuck in a group. Next class meeting you can choose your group. If you end up in group 1, this means that you will be doing your projects on Tuesday. So if Tuesday is a good day for you to do a lab and stay later, try and get into group 1. If group 2, if you would be better to on Thursday do your lab, try and get into group 2. Okay? And any of you can go into any group you want. You can either be in one group or another because you want to be with your friends, or you want to avoid somebody in the other group that was your ex-boyfriend or whatever. Just pick a group. As long as they're more or less the same size groups, we're good. If you miss a thing and you need to catch up, you can sometimes plug yourself into the other group for a week until you catch up. By watching videos or doing stuff at home. But for the most part, this is not as easy a one to slip back and forth as the makeup class is, because they kind of build on one another, each of the projects. So try not to miss class and pick a group that is in the time period that's most convenient for you. So today you're having your pictures taken, you're being taken on a tour, and you're going through this syllabus. Next time, Group 1 will watch a how-to video on how to sew the rehearsal skirt or cape, or something similar to that, plus a lot of little short videos. And then Group 2 will watch a transition video. Now, it says the Cotton Club. Unfortunately, the Cotton Club, though promised to have arrived by this weekend, has not done so. So instead, the transition video will be coming to America. And I'm not going to go through the whole calendar. That one you can read, and I repeat, you will get that sent to you each time. So this goes there until you get to the end part of this. This is your Spring 2020 point calculator on page 28 and 29. And what it does is it shows you over here how much percentage of your grade has to be 15% for your attendance and timeliness and 15% for lab participation. Now, if you've taken the makeup class, you'll notice that that is not something that I have in the makeup class. This is a harder class. You really do have to show up. It's not as easy to slip in and out and flake out for half the semester. If you start flaking out on this one, you're going to have a real problem. So please be aware of that. You do get points on attendance. You especially get points on lab participation. And while these projects are stuff that you can go and do alternates on if you need to, it's very hard to catch up on all of them at the end. It's not like the makeup class where it just is, oh God, I'm doing 5 different makeups in one day, where it hurts your face, but you can do it. This stuff takes time. And so please be a little more together. And if you start getting behind at some point, do your level best to catch up as much as possible. And if it looks by the middle of the semester like you're going to fail and you've been disappearing so much, you may discover that you have been dropped from the class. I am not doing that because I like to be mean. I'm doing that because I have too many people who fail this class simply because they think that, like the makeup class, it's going to be a simple one to catch up on, and it isn't. It really isn't. And so you need to stay in communication with me. We need to keep you kind of on track doing stuff, and you need to show up as much as possible. I don't need a doctor's note if you're sick. I get that. It's silly to go and ask. I just want you to be sure that you are not flaking. Okay? So please do not flake, and you can go and keep track of how you're doing for projects and going along through there. And now I think probably the photo thing and the tour for the other group is over. And if you've already had the photo group and tour thing, you can come and ask me questions if you need to, or if you don't have any questions, you can go and go off. Have a lovely day. If, on the other hand, you have not had your photo taken and you have not done the tour yet, it's time to transition. The other group is going to watch this video again, and you are going to come with me, take the tour, and have your mug shots taken. Okay? Bye-bye.